Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Teach my heart to impart everywhere your delight. Sing of moon rays on the rain, sing that love's not in vain. Every grief, every wrong, as it's ending in song. Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Teach all men how to spin clouds of gloom into light. Without silence, what is song? Without night, where is dawn? Were it not for men's woes, who would smile at our rose? Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Let each tone silence groan, earth and heaven unite. Morning laughter, evening tears, snow and blossoms, all fade. Joy must sing in the night to face change unafraid. Nightingale, nightingale, nightingale.
Song of the Nightingale is one of 3 songs that refers to the bird, the nightingale. The others being That Night When Christ Was Born that we enjoyed talking about in December, and also the song Emerald Isle that's on the Mystic Harp album. The nightingale, as we discussed in That Night When Christ Was Born, is a bird that's famed for its beautiful song, which it sings both day and night. In Emerald Isle, we have the line, as nightingales lifting the curtain of night, referring to that timelessness, that day and night that the bird sings. Here in Song of the Nightingale, the phrase sing of joy through the night refers primarily to singing with joy through light and darkness, which is really symbolic of the contrasts we see in life with pleasure and pain, success and failure, sorrow and happiness, and all of those similar kinds of qualities, or similar kinds of contrasts, I should say. In this way, the nightingale's song, as we might think of it, is that the song of true joy, the song of the joy of the soul that sings regardless of outward circumstances, especially through the seeming darknesses that surround us in our world. The nightingale, being a symbol for eternal truth, is something that Yogananda uses as a symbol for divine consciousness many times in his interpretations of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. And in that truth, then, you know that everything, whether seemingly good or bad, has some kind of underlying purpose, some reason that it's there to help bring souls back to God. Now, the beginning of every verse is simply, it's not just a story about a bird. It's not really a song about a bird at all. It's really a call or an appeal to that eternal truth or that divine consciousness. Perhaps even a prayer, a call to enlighten us, a call to that consciousness at the spiritual eye. It always says in every verse, nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Now this opening line of each verse is making that request to truth, as represented by the nightingale. It's clear then from the words that follow in each verse. Teach all men. teach my heart in the first verse, teach all men, and then let each tone. These are words that have the sound of a prayer demand, as we hear in Yogananda's Whispers from Eternity and his other prayers, that are also often a demand for enlightenment, a demand for spiritual understanding. So we have that call, Nightingale, Nightingale, please, divine consciousness, teach my heart, teach all men, let each tone. These are prayers that are coming to that higher truth. Now each verse then focuses on the concerns of a few of the different chakras in the spine, starting with the heart chakra. It's right there in the words. Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Teach my heart to impart everywhere your delight. Sing of moon rays on the rain. Sing that love's not in vain. Every grief, every wrong has its ending in song. The delight of the nightingale that's referred to in this verse is really the delight of the soul, the delight of God, or you might say the delight of always being and living in the presence of God. And then as the moon represents divine love, the sun, as Yogananda talked about it, represents divine wisdom. The moon represents divine love. And so the moon rays, as opposed to the sun rays, is really talking about that divine love that's present in the seeming sadnesses of the world, represented with the words on the rain. And giving that love, as it says, sing that love's not in vain, giving love is always purposeful as well, even if it seems in vain, because even though it's perhaps not returned or doesn't seem to have an effect on everyone, it's still meaningful to share it regardless of those outer results. And in divine understanding, as the last line of this verse says, there's a joy that lies behind every sorrow, every grief, every wrong has its ending in song. So this first verse really is giving a lot of reasons to the oft-troubled heart to believe in goodness, to help lift the heart, prevent it from sinking down, to help lift it upwards in the spine and out of those qualities like negativity, which is a downward heart consciousness, cynicism, the same thing, pessimism, the same thing. There's reasons to believe, there's reasons to believe in joy. This quality of negativity is the one that Swami Kriyananda assigned to this song in day 23 of Secrets of Emotional Healing. And he says the secret of overcoming negativity is to understand that what you behold in the world reflects back to you what you are in yourself. Work at self-transformation. Stop thinking that the world owes it to you to grant your every wish. Put another way, it's easy to sing in the sunshine when things are going well. But, most birds actually go silent in rain or in storms and at night, which is to say they go silent in the darkness of difficulties. The nightingale, on the other hand, is teaching us to always sing no matter what, to teach us that circumstances are neutral, that we can always choose to be happy. That is our choice. Happiness is a choice. It's not something imposed on us from outside. It's something that we choose, and the nightingale helps us do that. And that determination to be happy then is really, the antidote for negativity and those related emotions, as well as the emotion of just sadness that often comes from that kind of depression of the heart. Now, in the first verse, we've addressed these concerns of the heart and we've lifted it up toward the throat chakra. And the second verse then is repeating that call to the soul. First, nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night, but then makes a more expansive request that brings that energy much clearer into the throat chakra. Teach all men how to spin clouds of gloom into light. And all men, we're saying not just about me, it's about everybody, it's about the human race, and that's very expansive, and expansiveness is a quality of the throat chakra. Now in performances, it's very interesting, like the recording that we heard from the Joy Singers, where often that first verse is sung as a solo, which really is speaking to that individual heart. And then the second verse starts with a little more harmony, and we heard the alto joining in on that, the phrase above, the teach all men how to spin clouds of gloom into light. And then, as if in response to teach all men, the men respond, and all four parts come in. So it's fascinating that the men then join in after there's that appeal to teach them. And that really underscores that idea that we're out of the concerns of the individual heart which is just about finding the nightingale's delight, and that we can now help to uplift others by overcoming that negativity and that cynicism and sadness, and overcome those different negative emotions. In fact, it's something that Yogananda said very clearly, that when you can't help uplift others when you're wallowing in self-pity or wallowing in your own problems. And it's an answer that he gave to challenges to yoga practices where people said, well, isn't it just selfish to seek joy in yourself when there's so much suffering in the world? But he said, you really can't help others if you're suffering yourself. You have to get yourself out of the mud pit in order to help others then remove themselves from those negative emotions as well. And then, that happiness that you find in yourself really is selfish only if you keep it for yourself. And so this verse, uplifting the heart from the individuality into the expansiveness of the throat, is reminding us of that. And then again, as the verse continues, we see another message, which is to see the purpose behind the different contrasts and duality. Without silence, what is song? Without night, where is dawn? Were it not for men's woes, who would smile at a rose? These poetic contrasts help us, and help all men, remember that the purpose of darkness and shadow is to draw greater attention to the light. This is something Yogananda said is the purpose of a villain in a movie, is to, or any story for that matter, is to help you feel more sympathy and to awaken love for the hero. Until, of course, you turn around and look at the projector, as he often did, and see that all of the light and shadow on the screen is coming from the one light out of the projector, the light of God, onto the screen of duality, as he says in the poem Samadhi. That they're just images, but still the principle is here that that the darkness is there to help us awaken the love for the light. And that's especially important, I think, in today's political climate, where, the more we see what I might say is heretofore unseen depths of corruption, there's going to be a greater demand for honesty and truth in the times ahead, which I think will be certainly a much more positive direction for our society and our cultures. Now the third verse then, we brought the heart out of the individuality up to the throat, we've expanded it, and now we're trying to continue to lift the energy up here to join with the nightingale at the spiritual eye. But we have to get through the medulla, as often is true in yoga, in lifting energy in the spine, and also in many of our songs. And so we appeal again to a nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night, and then we make the request, let each tone silence groan, earth and heaven unite. Very rich line. It's like we're praying, O eternal truth, let every utterance, every thought, and indeed every vibration that comes out of us, let it be born of that stillness, to unite material creation, duality and lower consciousness, or the earth, with thy transcendent higher consciousness of heaven. The silence here, you could say, is sat, as the definition of God in the ancient Vedic text that Yogananda also described as Sat Chid Ananda, Sat being God the Father beyond all vibratory creation or existence. And that's the silence. And as we say in the Festival of Light that we do at Ananda's Sunday service, out of the silence came the song of creation. Om projects itself out of the Sat, out of that silence, and becomes creation. So we're trying to tune into that silence behind creation. And so really thus we're praying that everything we say, everything we think, and everything we do brings us closer to union with that higher consciousness here, and serves to uplift others even further. Because in the end, as the song says, all the contrasts of duality are just delusions. Morning laughter, evening tears, snow and blossoms all fade. That is, the happiness and sorrows of the senses, and our likes and our dislikes, which are the obstacles that the ego at the medulla impose on us, these things have no permanent reality. The realization then helps us go past the medulla, bring the energy up here to the spiritual eye, bring it past that point where we get stuck wishing and hoping that everything in life is easy and comfortable, or as the Secrets of Emotional Healing said, that life will bring everything to us that we want. So we hope we get stuck in the medulla, that life should be easy and comfortable and everything should go our way. But then when we bring the energy up here to the spiritual eye, we know that the secret of happiness is something different, that it's just about finding that joy in ourselves. And especially with the last line we have, let me sing it for you. Joy must sing, joy must sing in the night, to face change unafraid. Those higher notes at the end of the line definitely bring the energy up further and focus it at the spiritual eye. And that's where we find that joy no longer, and when we find that joy, we're no longer tossed about by the ups and downs of life. We know that all is God, all is light, all has divine purpose. And this counteracts not only those negative emotions of like negativity and cynicism, but also addresses things like fear of change. That's right in the lyrics, to face change unafraid. And also frustration, because the latter is what happens, frustration is what comes when we've been wanting and hoping that life is simple, that things bring us the comforts we're looking for, but of course that never happens. That's not the way duality is set up. And so we end up being frustrated alongside being negative. And then finally we have a little line at the end where it just sings the simple phrase, Nightingale, Nightingale, Nightingale. If we think of the nightingale again as eternal truth or of God, then what we have here is the utterance, God, 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 which is the name of the poem that Yogananda wrote, God, God, God. So no longer do we need to make appeals to God as we've been praying through the song, with those appeals of teach my heart, teach all men, let each tone. We're just saying God, God, God. We don't need to make those appeals anymore to uplift others or to impart understanding to us. We've reached a point of union with God, or at least that piece of understanding of divine consciousness where we can relax away from all the specifics and all the details of life and rest in full confidence that it's all made of light and all is God's goodness. So again, Song of the Nightingale works for many negative emotions, all of which are rooted in that thought of, why can't I just get everything arranged in perfect order so I can finally rest? Well, again, Maya doesn't work that way. It's always going to mess things up. It's always going to scramble all our plans and expectations, leading to the frustration of those expectations, and again to negativity and cynicism and pessimism, as well as that fear of change. And the way out is not to somehow arrange the world to our liking perfectly and keep it that way, but to instead recognize the inevitability of change, to rise above it by concentrating on God, by singing joy through the night, no matter what. Now the second recording that we'll enjoy now is Swami Kriyananda singing it from Windows on the World. It's just a solo piece, but it has a little more instrumental activity in it that I'd like you to listen to carefully. And especially what you'll hear is these extra little melodic lines that are reminiscent of birdsong. And if you listen to it in headphones, you'll hear that it alternates between the left and right ears, providing a kind of lateral support to this energy rising up the spine from the heart to the throat, through the medulla to the spiritual eye. And these bird songs are like supporting it to the left and the right, each one like giving a gentle push upwards from one side or the other, helping yet more that heart to flow upwards through there to the spiritual eye where we can immerse ourselves in that light. So we'll enjoy that now.
Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Teach my heart to impart everywhere your delight. Sing of moon rays on the rain, sing that love's not in vain. Every grief, every wrong as it's ending in song. Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Teach all men how to spin clouds of gloom into light. Without silence, what is song? Without night, where is dawn? Were it not for men's woes, who would smile at a rose? Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Let each tone silence grow, earth and heaven unite. Morning laughter, evening tears, snow and blossoms all fade. Joy must sing in the night to face change unafraid. Nightingale, nightingale, night.